Welcome to another top whatever type list. It's not exactly a top whatever, it's basically 20 worst things in Marvel Comics since 2012. Yeah, ever since they did the event Avengers vs. X-Men, Marvel's done some really stupid things. And yes, I will talk about some of them, but not every single one. I mean, during this period of time, we've had some good series in the past 7 years. Yeah, since AVX, we've had really good Fantastic titles. None of them been bad. No, though they have made some bad decisions. One dishonorable mention I'm going to put to the Avengers Arena series, where that was meant to have teenagers basically kill each other for sport. I am not sure why in the world. Now, I've heard that the rumor was that the reason why Marvel did this because Hunger Games was popular. Yes. All because the Hunger Games franchise started the very year, so why not copy that success by having the characters from Avengers Academy series plus new characters kill each other for frickin' sport and being taped by X-Men Long-Term X-Film Arcade? Yes. I am not sure who the heck thought this was a good idea of Marvel Comics. Because, overall, do you know how many characters officially died in that series who actually were, in fact, characters not original to that series? Only one. And he died in the first issue. Anybody else who died over the course of the series, they were revealed to be alive by the time the series was over, would basically make the deaths completely redundant. To say the least. Yes. We'll talk about that. Okay. First thing to talk about is the mass exodus of writers. Yes, a lot of really long-time writers left Marvel Comics during the course of these past several years. People like Ed Brubaker, Rick Remender, Matt Fraction, Kelly Sue Honick. Recently we had Brian Michael Bendis leave. Yeah. No idea why. Oh yeah, we also had James Robinson leave the company. Josh Scholl is rumored to be leaving in near future. Yeah, there's rumors been swirling for the past year. Yeah. This is by far a really dumb sign at Marvel that something is really wrong, where a lot of really popular writers, either one, their contract probably expired, because a lot of times these writers do sign exclusive contracts, that's usually the case, or the fact they couldn't stand the politics and toxic environment at Marvel Comics over the past 7 years. I mean, yes, DC had this problem over the course of 2011 and 2013, where the backstage stuff was so toxic. But I would say the stuff at DC was worse than what happened at Marvel. I'm not sure what causes people to leave, but these popular writers all left. Now, almost all of these writers, with the exception of about 2 of them, left in 2012 or 2013. Well, over the course of this period of time, yes. Having these great writers leave like this is really dumb. Now, because these writers are very popular, and the fact that one of these writers was being complained at because of another writer did something to one of his characters he wrote for 7 years, and he had nothing to do with it. That was Brubaker. He got blamed for that. And I will talk about that particular thing. That is on this list. Because, yeah, that was really dumb for Marvel to do. Next up is 3 that were longer than they should be. During the course of 2015, 2016, and 2017, we had 3 major events that were milked to the end of the year for no reason but pure greed on the part of Marvel Comics. And all of these books had one issue get delayed. I mean, at least one of them actually had a good reason. The other 2 had no reason for delays at all. Secret Wars, originally planned for 12 issues and was shortened down to 8, and then get a 9th issue for no reason at all. Civil War 2 got at least 8 issues. Secret Empire got 10, which made the longest limited series crossover event since AVX. Yeah, though, of course, these events sometimes made stupid. Now, Secret Wars was a pretty not bad event. The biggest problem with the thing, there were 2 major problems. 1, the pacing, and 2, the fact that Marvel kept milking this crossover for like no reason. Also, Hickman was actually one of the other writers who actually left Marvel Comics during the course of this period of time. I forgot to mention that. Civil War 2, which was the last crossover that Brian Michael Bendis himself actually did do. Yeah, it was the last one he did. Because he had done a lot of the really popular, or at least really big Marvel comic crossovers since 2005. Doing stuff like House of M, Secret Invasion, the Dark Reign stuff, Siege. A lot of really big events that, some events I actually really enjoy. No, he did not do Civil War 1, that was Mark Millar. Which is by far the only event he's ever done for Marvel Comics. But in the case of Bendis himself, yeah. Though this event, now events are known for interrupting books. Not in the case of this one. This one interrupted storylines that were planned in advance. They had to be interrupted because of Civil War 2 and its strange thing. And probably by far the worst event out of all of these has got to be Secret Empire. Though it did have good artwork. Yeah, but that particular event had stupid things. The fact that half the time that it focused on the villains instead of focusing on the heroes actually fighting the actual characters. Oh, another honorable mention. The fact that Spider-Man, for the past 2 years, has been absent from big crossovers for like no reason at all. Yeah, in the case of Civil War 2, we had a tie-in miniseries featuring Spider-Man. Did he take part in the actual event? Nope. In the case of Secret Empire, did he take part in the actual event? No, but he did show for the last couple issues for cameos. I'm like, seriously? He dealt more stuff in his own book because apparently Slott just didn't care to have Spider-Man involved in comic crossovers. The last official one he was part of was Secret Wars. Yeah. Alright, next. The ending of the Venom and Scarlet Spider titles. Yeah, I didn't hear about this until 2 years ago. And the reason why these titles ended is really stupid. The reason is the fact that these 2 titles were ended because the editor, I'm not sure who at Marvel Comics thought this was a good idea to do. Apparently, because some people at Marvel didn't like the fact that Venom and Scarlet Spider were outselling Superior Spider-Man in sales, they ended these 2 titles because of that. I'm like, where have I heard something similar to that before? Oh yeah, it happened in DC Comics at least a year prior when they ended the Justice League International series after 12 issues because Jeff Johns was jealous. Yeah, I don't know if this is true in the case of this one. The fact that Jeff Johns was jealous the fact that International was beating Justice League in sales. That's how it ended. That's the rumor I heard. That's how it ended. In the case of Venom and Scarlet Spider, yeah, this one probably is true, and it's a really stupid reason of why these 2 titles ended. Especially since you have writers like Chris Yost, and on that title, and of course, for Venom, you have Rick Remender and Colin Bunn doing a fantastic job with these series, and let's just end them because of Superior Spider-Man sales. You know why people were buying those titles? Because people didn't care for what Dan Slott was doing in Superior Spider-Man. That is the reason why people bought these titles a lot more than Superior Spider-Man. So ending them because of this was really stupid of Comics to do. And speaking of Slott, Dan Slott made Spider-Man for too long. Now, a lot of people at some certain points that this would be the end of Dan Slott's run because people just couldn't stand Superior Spider-Man. Because what all started with with Amazing Spider-Man 100. That is the point people really wanted him to leave the book because, from what I've heard, people sent him death threats over that damn issue. Yes. I mean, first people thought that he would stop writing Spider-Man after Spider-Man ended. Nope. Next they thought, Spider-Verse, a event he actually been building up for the past year. Nope. People thought he would leave as soon as Secret Wars ended. Nope. He didn't finally leave till last year. And by the way, his final issue was $10. Wow. Marvel is just pure greedy. At least whenever Marvel did other triple-digit issues that very year, heck, even the previous year, when they had Thor 700, do you know how much that issue cost? $6. Not $10. I'm not sure why in the world Marvel thought this was a good idea, but they did. It's really dumb the fact that they charged $10 for a freaking comic book. Charge that for a trade, not an individual issue. Yeah. Next, the character reversals of Flash Thompson, Sam Wilson, and Laura Kinley. Venom, Captain America, Wolverine. All in particular order. In 2016, we have Flash Thompson being Venom, and then that's how it was taken away from him, given to Lee Pierce, and again back to the original. Why? No idea why. And some people are probably thinking, maybe Marvel won't do this bullcrap again next year. And they did. They took away Sam Wilson's title as Captain America and turn him back into the freaking Falcon, despite the fact there already was another Falcon and replaced him. Yeah, this was stupid. And he got a short-lived title. He got an ongoing series as Falcon out of it that was canceled after 8 issues. In the case of Flash Thompson's tenure as Venom, it's like, okay, did the replacement writer for Venom after Venom Space ended bother to explain how in the world Lee Pierce even got the symbiote, or at least how it left Flash Thompson? Nope, that wasn't explained until Venom 150, when it was explained by the previous writer Robbie Thompson. And it's a very silly reason why. Go read the issue to understand why it's really dumb. And then last year, we had Laura Kinley, who had been Wolverine since 2015. And then all of a sudden, because the original Wolverine was revealed to be alive, like in Marvel Legacy, they hinted at it. And then, yeah, he's alive. And what do Marvel do? Because the original Wolverine's alive, let's just take away an identity from this character that Tom Taylor basically took time of his busy schedule to actually do this. The guy is one busy guy. At one point, he was doing 3 titles and a TV show. The guy is that damn busy. I think he does 1 Marvel title right now. I'm not sure which one he does. But yeah, this guy is one busy guy. And I'm like, you basically throw away 3 years of character development for the only reason why you did that because the original Wolverine was alive. What is wrong with you, Marvel, when it comes to stuff like this? You can't, like in the case of Captain America and X-20 and Laura, you can't have 2 people with the same name? Really? Then why do we have 2 people named Spider-Man and 2 Hawkeyes? Explain that to me. Of why in the world that is okay, but we can't have 2 Captain Americas or 2 Wolverines. You think we're that stupid we can't tell these 2 characters apart? In the case of Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers, they have 2 different skin colors and they're 2 completely different people. In the case of Laura and Logan, one's a woman, one's a guy. Yeah, I know for a fact that Logan is a popular character. I know that. Laura is a popular character in her own right. But throwing away 3 years of character development was absolutely stupid move on part of the Marvel Comics to do last year. Yeah, I put this at one of my worst from last year. Alright. Next up is the restarting #1 almost every single year. 2014, I think, was the only year we didn't have any restarts that year. But man, this by far was a dumb thing to do. Oh yeah, we'll talk about the initiatives later. Yeah. All because Marvel wants that #1 money. Money. Give me money, give me money. Yeah, that's basically Marvel's thing. Like, they're obsessed with the #1. They are constantly obsessed. And because of that, they are basically just want that and they don't care about promoting anything else. Yeah, we're obsessed with it. Like, a lot of books keep getting restarted to #1 after a very short period of time. You know what the shortest books I've seen relaunch at a short period of time? Yeah, that books like Spider-Gwen, Ant-Man, Howard the Duck. Do you know when these titles hit the restart button? Do you know how many issues they released? Do you know how many released before they hit the restart button? 5 issues. 5. Silk released 7. In the case of all new Captain America, which was Sam Wilson's first title was Captain America, released 6 issues before it abruptly ended. Yeah. I keep hoping. Now, I thought that last year Marvel would stop this stupid nonsense of restarting books #1. But they did it again for no reason at all. At least in the case of 2017, we had 1 title hit #1 last year, and that was Guardians of the Galaxy. And that was it. This year, as far as I can tell, only 1 title so far this year is at #1, and that's been Champions. As far as I can tell, we did have new Captain Marvel #1, but the ongoing series thing actually ended the previous year, but at least it was a long period of time between issues. Not in the case of Champions, where it was like literally like a month later. The worst case of this was when Wolverine X hit the restart button. Yeah, its number 1 relaunch, came out 1 week after the previous issue came out. That was stupid of Marvel Comics to do. Alright. Next, the mistreatment of Jim Starlin. Yeah, this is one of the problems of 2017. Yeah, this was really dumb. You know how they mistreated him? Let's see. Not allowing to write a Thanos title. That's not one of his one. Like when Thanos got an ongoing series, he really wanted to write that. Marvel said no, for no reason at all. And the fact that DC Comics, DC Films, paid him more for KG Beast than Marvel paid him for using Thanos, Gamora, and Drax. At least the fans treat Jim Starlin with a good amount of respect. God forbid Marvel Comics do that with Jim Starlin, one of the most well-respected artists and rare artists in the industry, and you mistreat him like this? This is stupid. And heck, I have listed as one of the dumb things Axel Alonso did during his tenure as editor-in-chief. Yes. Oh, by the way, I think a lot of this stuff is nearly the Axel Alonso's fault. A lot of it is. Yeah. Alright, next, and this is a really big one. Happening the very same year, not celebrating Jack Kirby's 100th birthday. At least DC Comics actually put an effort into it. Marvel Comics? Nah. Don't care. But there's a reason for that why Marvel just didn't care. Because Marvel sold his artwork, like sketches of his artwork, without his permission. Yes, Marvel had been mistreating him since the 80s. That's all bad it was when it comes with. I mean, you could have at least celebrated his 100th birthday by doing something. As far as I can tell, you did nothing. Yeah, Marvel did nothing at all when it came to celebrating Jack Kirby's 100th birthday. At least the comics actually put effort into it, like launching miniseries, a series of one-shots. At least they acknowledged it. Marvel, nope, just didn't care. Did something really stupid, one of his most famous creations, though. Yes. Alright, next. The first events of 2015 and 2016 getting a lack of promotion. What do I mean by this? The fact that there were 2 events that started off 2015 and 2016. In 2015, we had Black Vortex, an absolutely fantastic story that got buried in promotion by Secret Wars. And I was hoping the following year, Marvel might actually learn from their mistake and not do that crap again. And they did it again the following year with Standoff. They buried the advertisement for that because of Civil War 2. At least in 2017, they did not make the same mistake. Yeah, the past 2 years, they have not made that mistake. But man, this was a stupid thing Marvel to do. Not bother promote first title of the year. Next thing is relating to Iron Man. Yes, Iron Man. One of Marvel's biggest cash cows, doing 2 stupid things over the course of 1 year. Yes, this was like, I think this was like not long after Iron Man 3 came out, these 2 stupid things happened. First, the fact that it was revealed that Tony Stark was adopted. I know for one particular person, Edgar, he didn't have a really big problem with this. But for a lot of people, they hated this, so they dropped the title like immediately afterwards. So they did pick up Spirit Iron Man afterwards. But the one thing my friend Edgar did not really care for when it comes to Kieran Gillian's run for Iron Man, which lasted from 2012 to I think it was like 2014, I think it was. The one really dumb thing he didn't really care for during this particular thing was during Original Sin, it was revealed that Iron Man was responsible for the creation of the Hulk. Yeah, I do agree this was a stupid thing for him to do. And guess what? All of the writers ignored this because they knew this was stupid. But they kept the whole thing of him being adopted. But at least they ignored that stupid retcon. Next, the ending of Fantastic Four. I have in quotation marks briefly for good reason. They ended this book in 2015 and then bring it back to last year. Yeah, for 3 years this title was gone. One of Marvel's flagship titles. I've heard 2 separate reasons of why in the world this title was canceled. One was the fact that it was one of Marvel's lowest selling titles 7 years. I'm like, how? How in the world was this title not selling too well in the past several years during the time it was published? And the second reason, and even Hickman himself confirmed this, because the Fantastic Four reboot film that came out that very year. Marvel did not want to promote it at all, because even they knew the film was a piece of garbage. I personally haven't seen it yet, but I've heard it's really bad. I've seen clips of this film, and I could see why the hell this film was awful. Yeah. And also, there was another reason why. Because Marvel's constant fighting with Fox over Fantastic Four and the X-Men. Lucky enough, this fight is finally going to be over this year, when Disney finalizes their purchase of Fox. Alright, next. James Robinson's books not being marketed properly. Yeah, this is something I do want to talk about. I did kind of do a whole video about this for my comic history. We'll talk about James Robinson's tenure for Marvel Comics in 2014, 2017. Man, this was an odd thing for Marvel to do with him. I mean, DC actually did a good job actually promoting every single book he managed to do for them during the course of his original tenure with the company from the 90s up until 2013. He actually he was with the company for 20 years. Yeah, when he was Fantastic Four, I think that book was actually running really well, but everything else barely got promotion. I mean, we actually announced the first issue, but nothing else. Books like All New Invaders, Scarlet Witch, Squadron Supreme, Nick Fury, and Cable. I think Cable did receive some promotion. Not much. But yeah, the fact these titles were barely promoted when they were coming out, which was by far really stupid of Marvel to do. Number one, because these titles were actually really good. Despite the fact these titles were barely marketed anyways. And two, what are you doing this to Robinson for? Why are you not promoting his damn books? At least DC gave a damn actually promoting his books. Why couldn't Marvel actually put effort to actually put out marketing, like promote these books? Yeah. I mean, one thing I actually love seeing in older comic books was, like, in the last page, like, advertisements for upcoming comic books. I mean, Marvel did this for, like, events and the movie X books, but nothing else. Yeah, which I think is quite stupid for Marvel to do. Yeah, we're not doing that for a lot of the books. Alright, next. Almost anything in Recommender being undone or ignored. Yeah, I've already talked about the whole thing with Venom, but man, oh man, it seems like that Marvel really hated Recommender as soon as he left, because almost anything he established when he was working there was like almost completely ignored. Aside from the whole thing with Venom and Captain America, there were other things that they simply just ignored, like the fact that he created one particular villain, the Iron Nail, the Dr. Mind Bubble. Really good villain. After the debut storyline of him, he disappeared, never to be seen again. And in the case of one particular storyline that someone actually bothered to give a damn about, and that was the whole thing with the Red Skull. And that was done by Gary Duggan. At least he gave a damn about fixing that. Or the fact they changed his roster from Uncanny Avengers. Yeah, I mean, they dropped like half the roster for like no reason. I mean, yeah, Gary Duggan himself did a fantastic job with the title. But come on, you could at least do a better job actually at least could explain like what happened to the team. Yeah, I'm trying to think what other stuff has been ignored. Let's see. Oh yeah, the whole thing about Archangel his memory being wiped. Yeah, I've heard another book that's been fixed. Like, when the heck did that happen? Yeah, it's particularly very weird. Let's see, was there anything else? Oh yeah, the thing character with Ian Rogers, the adopted son of Captain America, who, after the Hydra miniseries from Secret War, this character was never heard from again. Kind of the same thing with Armzola's daughter, Jet Black, where after the Recommender wrapped up his run on that, this character was never seen again. And the longest since this character last showed up, it's been like 4 years. Yeah. And like no one gives a damn about it. In the case of Access, it seems like that this particular event, one of the things I do think that Marvel just simply just don't care, or they just undo or at least ignore stuff here, because Access was an event done by Rick Remender in 2014. A really good event in my opinion. It actually helped revitalize Iron Man, did a lot of good things with it, and it was the last official time Spider-Man was actually involved. That actually had good, like actually drove the plot of an actual event. Yeah, he showed up for Secret Wars. He didn't do almost a damn thing with that particular event. But in the case of this one, he actually was heavily involved. He actually helped fight people. Like, he actually fought everybody, and it was good the fact that Rick Remender knew that the event of Spider-Verse going at the same time. He knew that not training in villain was a good idea, though there was a dumb thing of Rick hunting the whole parentage of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. But yeah, a lot of that stuff with that particular event was good. It's just that let's just ignore everything else. Alright, next is... Now, there are two things about forced pushes. First is the Inhumans forced push. Yeah, they had a push starting in 2014, which for a lot of people felt very forced. Because prior to 2013, Marvel a lot of time to do hardly anything with the Inhumans, and then they started to do something with the Inhumans. Now, I really like every single title that came with this pair of Inhumans. None of them were bad. They're actually really good titles. Show did a fantastic job with them, along with James Amos, and G. Willow also with the Miss Marvel title. Yeah, none of the titles were bad, but I do agree with the whole opinion about the push for Inhumans felt very forced. Yeah. The other forced push we had was for American Chavez. Why was this character getting a push, getting her have her own ongoing series, and also having her become the leader of the Ultimates for like no reason at all? I mean, the only reason I think I've heard a rumor of why Marvel gave her to the ongoing title, because she was the only, as far as I could tell, they thought she was the only openly lesbian character they had. That is not true. She is one of two that I can think of. The other, of course, is the character Karma from New Mutants. She's an open lesbian. And yeah, Marvel does nothing with her, but you would do this in American Chavez. Probably because the SJW, because the whole thing of American Chavez is so SJW stuff, and the fact they pushed her title, and the fact that hell, it should never been published anyways. I mean, here's the thing, with the exception of one arc, her title was awful. Really bad. Like, why the heck did they give it to her in the first place? Yeah. Next. Yeah, this is one thing I kind of felt as though this was really one of Marvel's reason why they can celebrate Jack Kirby's birthday. Turning Captain America into a Hydra agent. This was like some development. This was actually really good, but man, this is kind of a stupid idea to do. Especially since Nick Spencer got death threats over this. Yeah, they threatened to kill him over this nonsense. And of course, last year we had the same bullcrap happen with DC when Tom King couldn't have Batman marry Catwoman for some stupid reason. Yeah. I'm not sure why the heck they're a good idea. Next, the politics. Oh boy, this particular thing. I started about this a couple years ago, where actually I'm not sure who idea was that Marvel would do this, where telling every single writer at Marvel. I mean, I think the only two who didn't do this was Jason Aaron and Brian Michael Bendis, where people had to go on Twitter every day to bash President Trump. Why? Because some people higher us Marvel just didn't really care for the guy at all. And guess what? Since he's been elected president, he's been president now for 2 years, he has never made a physical appearance in Marvel Comics. Never at all. The last president made an appearance in Marvel Comics was Barack Obama. Not kidding about that. At least Trump has appeared at DC Comics for I think he appeared for one off issue of Aquaman. That was it. I mean, at least the independent companies actually about to give a damn about featuring their comics. I mean, he was featured in an issue of Savage Dragon for crying out loud. I mean, heck, there's several companies published comics with him actually fighting other people. Yeah, it's kind of really weird. But the whole thing with the whole SJW stuff kind of started a couple years ago. It's not been really heavy until last year. Next, books ending and no one knowing about it. Yeah, this was something really that I think Marvel has had a really big problem with for the past, like, I'd say for the past 4 years, I've had a problem with this thing, where books just abruptly end, and there's no page that says, this is the final issue. They just end. A lot of books basically have had this problem. I've seen few books actually do bother to give this particular thing, and there's been articles about some books getting ending. But a lot of the time, these books end and just no one knows. Like, oh, this is the last issue. Like, that's it. Okay. And of course, when times not featured in solicits for like 2 months, they assume the book is ending. And plus, there are some covers that are very predictable to be in the final issue of the series. Yeah, I can easily tell this is going to be final issue, either due to low sales, but you can at least tell people these books are ending. At least DC, most of the time last year, actually gave a damn to actually announce these books are ending. Marvel, nope. They actually did the late 2017 did this for several titles ending starting that very year, but after that, nope. No other title got that treatment. None of them ever did. Which in my opinion was really stupid. Next, not answering all the questions after Secret Wars. Yeah, this is something I thought was really dumb for Marvel to do to me. People asked a boatload of questions. Guess how many were answered? Like, maybe a handful of them. The only ones I could think of that have been answered since Secret Wars is how Daredevil's entity became secret again, when in the world did the relationship between Human Torch and Medusa start, like, and also when did Spider-Man meet Miles Morales in this current timeline. I'm trying to think, there was anything else? Well, they did say kind of the Sabretooth was kicked off, she was kicked off the mansion for some reason. But not everything has been explained. The one really big one that no one at Marvel has ever bothered to explain, answer this question. Like, I think Bendis was probably asked this question like 20 times over the course of his run for Iron Man. How in the world does the Virgin get reversed? Yeah, this question has frequently been asked for the past 3 years and never answered. Nope, they never ever did answer the question. As for why in the world this was never answered, I have no idea. It's one of the most dumbest things that Marvel has done. I'm sure basically Tom Taylor to explain this nonsense, but nope. Tom Taylor never did. He just abruptly left the title after releasing I think it was like 6 issues. I think it was. It was a damn good title though. Just too bad the fact that the answers never question and the questions never answered. Of course, a bunch of ones like, why did the lineup for Kenny Avengers change? I think it was a bunch of them anyways. Yeah, they did answer one, like what happened with the whole thing with Cyclops during time skip. At least they about explained that one. But a lot of other ones, nope, they just didn't care. Also, they never showed of how the Sam Wilson Captain America took on Hydra. Yeah, they never showed that. Never did. Next, and this is the last one, this is the Marvel Now, All New Marvel Now, All New Marvel Now, and Marvel Now initiatives. Yes. Thing. Despite the fact that all these titles that release these things were really good, it seemed like almost every year we had a new initiative. We had Marvel Now in 2012, All New All Diff Marvel Now in 2013. We had All New All Diff Marvel Now in 2015, and Marvel Now again in 2016. Why in the world Marvel kept doing these initiatives? It's like we have to keep the initiative every single year. And according to Alonzo, this was the next step of these particular waves and doing seasons for titles. Man, X Alonzo said some stupid things over the course of most of the time he have been the editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, because he said bullcrap things. He lied to people a lot during his tenure of Marvel Comics. I mean, I did a whole video of the worst things he did, worst things that happened during the course of his tenure of Marvel Comics. At least in the case of Joe Quesada, he had one really bad thing happen. That was One More Day. Alonzo had more bad things happen during his tenure than Quesada ever did. C.B. Sebesky, who is the current editor-in-chief Marvel, he has not pulled the same bullcrap that Axel Alonso did, where even though, yes, we've had a couple initiatives during the course of his tenure, but they're not bad initiatives, no. It's just that these other ones are really kind of dumb, these initiatives. I mean, none of the titles are bad. None of them are never bad. It's just that it was just Marvel's excuse to keep Reliant Sales #1 for pure greed. Yes. And I think Marvel was maybe realizing those initiatives were failing, so we had to keep trying and trying again. I mean, the only reason Marvel did Marvel Now was to compete with New 52. That was the only reason why I did it. And here's the thing. The next time DC did a new initiative for books, they didn't do it again until 2015. They didn't do it every single freaking year. Do you know how many initiatives DC Comics has done in the past 8 years now? 3. They've done the New 52, the DCU, DC Rebirth, and, well, of course, the fourth one, DC Universe. Yet they've done 4. 4 in the past 8 years. How many has Marvel done? Marvel's done one almost every year, except 2014. That one didn't have one. But it seemed like every single year we had to have a new initiative for no reason at all. Yeah, this by far was dumb and Marvel Comics do. And I hope in the near future CB Cebulski learns from Axel's mistakes and actually ought to have another initiative this year. As far as I've heard nothing. Yeah. But people can probably cross your fingers and probably expect a new initiative launch this year. Possibly. But this all depends on the part of Marvel Comics. As far as I've heard, nothing. I would say probably the biggest thing of pushing this year is War of the Realms. Yeah, that I'm looking forward to because that looks interesting. But that's the like really big event they're pushing this year. Because, yeah, there's not been any events. I mean, aside from that, there's been no other events now this year at all. I mean, I have it up on Wikipedia where Marvel announced these particular events. And I mean, there's a few minor events happen this year. We have Age of X-Men. You only have 3 events happening. You have Age of X-Men, which is mostly just an X-Men related event. Yeah, a miniseries, War Infinity Watch, and War, which is probably to be the big event this year. But it seems like Marvel is getting their heads together when it comes to events and actually try to do a good quality event this year. Hopefully for that. Okay? But here's what I hope, though, that can we please not have this thing where after we have a big event, can we not have a new initiative afterwards? Because it seemed like it's been this way since 2012. We have to have a new initiative right after this event ends. We have to have it. That's basically Marvel's motive for the past 7 years. Okay? Well, 6 years, mind you, because there has been one this year yet. Okay? So, that's it for this video. I was not originally planning this video, but I figured, though, why not do it anyways? Okay? I'm sure other people probably want to do their own something like this. I mean, Tivia's welcome to it. Edgar's welcome to it as well. Anybody's welcome to do their own type of video with something similar to this of the really dumb things Marvel Comics have been doing since 2012. Okay? But until this next video, bye.